Hey man,
Hey, good morning or good evening. What's
good evening.
going on?
I just had a very busy day, just trying to end it soon. I hope
Yeah.
get some.
Yeah, how's your week been going? Weekend,
Uh,
weekend. Yeah.
it's been all right. Went out to celebrate my friend's bachelor's party.
Nice.
Um, Probably the most drunk I've ever been in my life. It was quite scary.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
maybe still recovering from that a little bit.
yeah. It took yesterday to recover. Now I'm back to up to speed. So yeah, all
Good.
is good. Yeah. What about you? How's everything?
Good, man. I've been working out, hitting the beach, kind of going. I started the HR thing, the heart rate thing. Yeah, so I got this device and I have the one of the rings in the mail coming. I
Okay.
got both just cause I figured why not. I feel like the ring can track more. So I started doing that, and my HRV in the morning is actually pretty good. It's higher than I thought it would be. So I was like, cool, some confirmation that I'm doing good things, you know? Yeah. Do you know how high your HRV is?
I've taken a break from kickboxing lately, and so it's kind of dropped, right?
Okay, yeah, it'll do that when you stop spiking
Yeah.
VO2 max. Yeah,
So now I think it's stabilizing back again after I've gone back to kickboxing, slowly ramping up. I know when I was going quite actively, it hovers between 70 to 100.
nice.
Um, but right now it's back to about 50, right?
Okay.
So it would slowly decrease if I stop exercising quite intensely. The scary thing is when I drink or do anything that harms my body the next day, it's crazy. Like I yesterday I woke up with a 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's pretty low.
Yeah, this happens when I drink. It just dramatically just dumps all the way down.
Yeah,
So
damn. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that tells you a lot. Tells you what's going on with the heart. Let's see what mine was this morning. I've taken it 2 mornings in a row now. I think the first one was like 72. Hold on.
But I think my HRV improved after I quit smoking as well. So,
Oh, okay, that's awesome. Yeah,
because
75 the first day and then 72 the next day. So pretty solid. Yeah. Um, yeah, that's awesome, man. Um, it's gone up. You could tell it's gone up since you quit smoking. You're not you were smoking weed, right? Or cigarettes?
cigarettes.
Cigarettes.
I have not smoked weed in a long time. So
Yeah. How long were you smoking cigarettes for?
11, 12 years, a pack a
Okay.
day. Yeah, since I was like
What
15.
did you do to quit? Like how was it cold turkey? Did you wean off? How'd you do it? Because I've had
Yeah.
like a couple clients that like Buddy still smokes and he's trying to get off. And it's been
Mm.
like since he was 13 years old, like he's been smoking a long time. And he's like
It's
my
hard.
eh,
It's probably one of the hardest thing I've ever done. Not gonna
yeah.
lie.
Wow. Yeah.
Um, but it was quite sudden, I would say. I went through like a 6-day program kind of to kind of wane off it. But
Sure.
it was just one night after I went out for drinks for work. 2 a.m. I decided, okay, today's the last day, and since then it's been 4 months. Yeah. But
Wow.
you really don't understand how hard it is until you go through it. Even now, right, when I go out to drink and all that,
Oh
the
yeah, you get
temptation
the urge. You're
is
like,
very
I would love to smoke a cigarette right now. Yeah. Yep.
yeah. So yeah. So I think even now I'm still getting a lot of the detox reactions from it. So I don't think my body has really stabilized yet.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for it because it's pretty fucking annoying. So yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. Yeah, that stuff's not easy. I luckily haven't. I don't think I've ever like I smoked like a little bit of cigarettes in college and like randomly. My sister went to Europe like one summer and was like came back and she was a smoker and then like occasionally she'd be like, "Do you want one?" I'm like, "Sure," but like I never enjoyed it or like got hooked on it. Like I actually did I do enjoy the nicotine high.
Mm,
And like I've been to like festivals and stuff where like if I'm doing a bunch of things already and I'm like chilling, I'll smoke like a spliff or like I'll take a hit
mm.
of a spliff, which is like half weed, half tobacco, and I actually like kind of enjoy that. But like other than that, I try and stay away from it just because it fucks my lungs up pretty hard. I like can't. My whole head it gets like way too cloudy. My like the back of my throat gets like really sore and scratchy and stuff. So I tend to usually avoid it. I'm like sensitive to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was very annoying, right? Because it felt like I always needed my cigarettes on me, and it just didn't feel very great. And I
Yeah.
think that was the push factor, right? Just trying to see whether I could push past that and become a non-smoker, because that concept of being a non-smoker was completely gone, right? I could never envisage myself being a non-smoker, and that kind of pushed me to it. But I kind of felt like it was divine intervention as well. It was just such a
Oh wow.
coincidence. My dad and I are heavy smokers, so we smoke together every day. We smoke a
Okay,
packy
yeah. Yeah.
house and everything. I quit smoking. I didn't tell him. 2 weeks later, he landed up in the hospital. His lungs collapsed. He was gonna die.
Oh
And
no.
the doctor
Holy
told
shit.
him, "You have to quit, or you're gonna die in the next 1 year." He quit. He came to me, he gave me my cigarettes, and I said, "I quit 2 weeks ago." So we
Oh
basically,
my God. That
and
is
I,
wild. That is
yeah.
wild. The
And the
universe
thing,
was like both you guys like chill on this. Yeah.
yeah. But I feel if I didn't quit then and if I'm still smoking now, he would never be able to quit because I smoke in the house, he smokes in the house.
Yeah.
It was still gonna work. It was only gonna work if both of us actually quit together and it
Yeah, at the
actually
same
happened.
time. Yeah. Wow. What was the like how many did you smoke a day? How many
A
cigarettes,
pack of it,
packs, pack a day? Yeah.
yeah, today. Yeah. So we would smoke together every day, right?
Yeah.
So I think it was some form of miracle that got me to stop, to kind of say,
Did you find that did you replace it with anything or was it sort
"Hmm,
of like more of the mind? Okay. All right.
yeah. I replaced it with this a little bit, and it's really not good because now when I'm back to it as well, it triggers me to want to smoke. So I'm trying to wane off again on this.
Wait, so are those Obas inhalers or like similar things? Or
Yeah,
what is
similar.
that?
It's
Okay.
similar. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I think because I replaced the cigarette with this, that every time I use it now, it kind of triggers my cravings for a cigarette as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting. Even though
yeah.
it's like healthier, it's still there's like a neurological connection there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
when I went off this for about a month, completely didn't think about smoking. And then one day I went drinking again, I came back, used it again, and I'm back on using this shit. So
Yeah, it's very interesting because like cigarettes, nicotine, man, I have an evolving relationship with it actually because same with that, and I the the first thing that got me into smoking was doing it socially, and then
Mm,
by myself. Uh, but then essentially it all evolved. My relationship with the nicotine evolved where I didn't need it anymore when I just
mm,
stopped buying packs and it was easy. But I was definitely hooked, and the pattern was very simple. It was there's a body dependence to it, like how much stuff is in your body with it, and then afterwards it's the psychological. Because
yep. Yep.
so then once it's off of your body, it's okay, but then you're still itching psychologically for it. So
Yeah.
the two things that I knew about it is like detoxing it from your body first, and then using some form of oral fixation for it.
Mm,
So whether it be like some people try to do toothpicks, other people try to do also like inhalers and stuff like that, but you just need something to replace that habit.
mm. Yep.
Afterwards, things just kind of like, that's fine. And then when I quit doing that, I was smoking cannabis, and then it evolved into when that I was doing too much cannabis. So then when I stopped doing cannabis, I was going back to cigarettes because I was trying to get the same high, and I
Mm,
realized, man, this is crazy. And then I went vapes because I love the flavor and the hookah style of it because I just wanted like the diversity. And then I ended up going back to cigarettes once my vapes were not available. And then I was like, dude, this is ridiculous. I should just stop everything altogether. And then I've been, I don't know how long I've been smoke free. It's like maybe I don't count anymore because I'm still not dependent on it. And so the thing is that uh, then lately, in the past few months, I've gotten a different relationship with nicotine and tobacco. So I don't buy cigarettes at all. And if I do ever choose to smoke, I'm always in a very social setting. It's very, very peculiar. But
mm,
I've explored other forms of tobacco with friends, you know, amongst that mapacho, which is the female plant of the tobacco plant, and a lot of it is done in a ritualistic way where you kind of smoke it similar like a cigar. You don't really inhale it, but you get like the nicotine through the mouth, and the essence of it is to help you process emotions and help
mm.
process blockages that might exist in an emotional level, which is very interesting because a lot of Native American tribes and a lot of indigenous tribes will use tobacco as a healing tool.
Oh
And
yeah.
a friend of mine, powerful in plant medicine, who is very knowledgeable in plant medicine, actually uses tobacco and nicotine, but instead of smoking it, he actually vaporizes it because that way you only get the essential oils of the actual plant. And from there, it actually barely hurts your lungs because what you're smoking is air, but you're
Mm.
grabbing the soul of the actual plant as opposed to burning it, which is through combustion. You're extracting the benefits of the plant through convection, and in that essence, he'll mix it with a couple of herbs or whatnot. But the thing about nicotine that's very very powerful, even throughout history, is that it's a very grounding plant, and it helps a lot of people in psychedelic journeys, or maybe people when they're drunk, they also like they like to smoke some of that because it allows them to focus and allows them to kind of bring them back into their body. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he
No,
uses
it's great you said that. Yeah, because I was just telling Carmen as well, right? I went drinking over the weekend for my friend's bachelor party, and it was the most drunk I've ever been, right? I can't remember parts of the nights, and this is the first time that it ever happened.
A
And my
brown
hypothesis,
out. Did you brown out? Yeah.
dude, I don't even know how I came home. Like, I have no recollection of how I got home or anything at all,
Well,
and it's
glad
never
you're home
happened.
safe at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, man. It's never happened to me before, right? And my
Yeah.
hypothesis is the nicotine kind of balanced me out previously with the alcohol, so it kind of grounded me and kept me sane and in the moment. But the minute I don't have this anymore, it's just I just like died out, blanked out.
Man, that's crazy. Wow. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'll use nicotine. I don't necessarily smoke cigarettes because every time I smoke cigarettes, maybe once in a blue moon type of thing, and
Mm,
I just go and revisit it and realize, yeah, it grounds me, but I can feel there's other substances around it that don't really vibe with me, and my body still reacts the way it should to smoking tobacco. So smoking cigarettes specifically, because tobacco is like a different. It has a different feel because
mm,
older smoke that's like, oh, I don't want to inhale this, so I'll take a deep breath, and then I'll fill my my mouth with it, and I'll just savor it in the tongue and all that, and not inhale the smoke, and that way I'll get the nicotine to that. But I only need so much because I'm still sensitive. So the
Yeah.
key is to keeping the sensitivity, and it's never going to be a harmful relationship. And
mm.
yeah, the other thing that I've experimented with is also snorting snuff, which is a snorting tobacco. So doing that also in another thing, and also hape,
Yeah.
which
I was gonna mention that.
Coma's going to do the hape. So it's a ceremonial tobacco that is used also to get ground into the body and process a lot of things. I actually got to do some hape with my partner over the weekend, and
Mm.
had this profound wake up. Like I got so in my body, and then I listened. A song came up, um, that I've learned that I listened to that I haven't listened to since the in so many years, and it just grounded me so much to memories of who I was and why I chose to make music and all that. And then while I was in it, I went in to listen to like songs that I haven't listened to before, and I could finally like tangibly connect the memory to my body, and it felt so nourishing. Like the yeah, it was just like I had a very beautiful, profound experience on it, and the whole thing was to enjoy the moment and really being present in my body and focused on what it is and what these memories mean to me. Like that was like a very profound thing for me. So I see tobacco now to completely different, where I was demonizing it. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna quit, this is fucking bullshit, da, 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 da. And now it's like, oh no, it's actually a tool. But when you abuse any of these things, then that's where it starts working against you. So now I've changed my relationship, and it's helped me tremendously.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, that's interesting, man. For me, I'm just a bit scared, right? Like when I go out to drink, I try to moderate a bit right now because it's a slippery slope. Once the first cigarette comes in, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna finish a pack in the night. So,
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree. In your face is the same thing I was saying. It's like you get it out of your body, so and then you get it out of your mind. So
yeah.
doing a lot of the breathwork stuff, detoxing, going to saunas, like all that stuff, getting out of your system
Oh,
first.
it's definitely out of my system already. It's been like 4 months.
Oh hell
Like
yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
it's a psychological.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's I was just like the inhalers or anything else to replace it, and then after that, yeah, after that it's anything that I would ever use it back on would be a very intentional ceremonial. It has to have a purpose. I'm not
Mm.
gonna take aspirin if I don't have a headache, you know. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
Funny you
No,
mentioned aspirin. There's
yeah.
aspirin's actually like one of the most, according to Ray Peat, like a miracle drug, basically. It stops like inflammation at the source, and you're actually supposed to take it like every day, according to him. I haven't experimented with this yet, but I just thought it was funny you mentioned that. Um, yeah, dude, the tobacco things, I never personally got into it, and I've never actually had like an addictive personality, although like I've been around it. Like I've been around friends that have gotten addicted to things. Even in my family, like I know what addiction looks like. Maybe that's why like I personally like never kind of got sucked into any one thing specifically. I have like a motto that I follow that like it's everything in moderation, including moderation. So like I'll go and experience life and allow myself to go like hard on something, but then I'll always come back to like chilling out and like not doing it or like like just I like to be I like to be sober. Like I've done the other side of that coin all throughout my like early and mid 20s. Like I went pretty hard, actually even late 20s too. So I've experienced both. And like to me, I never like chased those experiences. It was more just like it was always something like adding flavor to the experience itself. I could have been there sober. I could have been there on my own. It could have been fine no matter what, like regardless of any substances. And those substances just were there to kind of like add a cherry on top or enhance the experience or give it a different flavor. It was just like something different that I was curious about. So like I've never been one to kind of like, yeah, want to chase that stuff. Um, But
Mm.
yeah, that's just my personal experience with it. I think it's something that's like it's just like a philosophy or like a mental attitude about it. It definitely helps when it comes to things that are addicting.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I partake in things that definitely are addicting, like, but I'm not addicted to them. Like I gamble a little every now and then, like I'll bet on sports games or whatever, but I'm not like throwing my life savings into like one bet, like it's um I think there is like so it might have something to do with dopamine, and like dopamine receptors and like I don't know, potentially clearing those. Because I've done dopamine detoxes before where I'm like not on my phone or I'm like I'll go out in nature and like not even look at my phone, not like just completely get out of EMF zone, get out of all that stuff, and just like balance my nervous system in a way. And I think breath work actually helps a lot with that. I think it like brings you into a state of being where you're not needing anything, and you can just kind of go based off your own intuition, your instinct.
Mm.
Yeah.
True. That is powerful. That's it's a great thing to really dig into that because I feel that's also when you start not doing things based out of the love you have for yourself versus the other polarity when you feel you're like so far behind from your health, like you finally get to grab and hold that health and you create that relationship, which strengthens your choices of wow, a love affirming action versus avoiding pain.
hmm I think I actually do have like an addiction, but it's like more of a healthy one. It's like I am addicted to like holistic health and like that world. Like I want to know more about it. I'm like very into the science behind things, very into like detoxing protocols, herbs, all this different stuff, healing in general, like in the mindset around all of it. I'm like I've been researching this stuff for almost like a decade. Um,
Mm.
and I just love it. I like keep finding more and more stuff about it. I actually want to talk about something a little bit different, just because it's come up in my circle recently. One of my friends started a parasite protocol.
Mm.
He got into it just kind of off a whim, and he's had some experience with fasting in the past, but not like too much. He's going through a specific protocol where he's not eating sugars, so it's very ketogenic. And he did a couple things wrong, in my opinion. Um, like if you're ever looking to get into a cleanse or like do protocols, parasite protocols, it's really important that you follow like some sort of guidance and not just like going on to ChatGPT and typing in, what do I do? Because they don't know you. They don't know what questions to ask. They don't know like the things that you don't know to ask. So it's like there's a lot of information on ChatGPT, but like you work with somebody or like get some guidance in some way. I say this because he didn't prep for his cleanse. He just went right into a 3-day fast out of nowhere. Like, was eating normal the day before, went into a 3-day fast, started taking his protocol, then got into a ketogenic diet. So no sugars, just meat, like a little bit of eggs, and I think it's meat and like some veggies. So he's very much burning on, like he didn't really know what he was doing. And yesterday he like almost had a panic attack because of a couple things. One, his body was starting to deplete itself. All of his energy was being utilized to heal his body, and it was tapping into reserves for sugar and glucose, and he didn't have any because he wasn't giving himself any. So like when that happens, the body's going to start to excrete and like get rid of toxins, right? And this is like the Herxing effect, or like when you're removing parasites, they can come in the form of neurotoxins and you can get brain fog and headaches and like all this stuff. The biggest thing that he did wrong, in my opinion, is that he didn't get his breath right first. He didn't do a breath protocol. He doesn't know about breathing. So he went into this 3-day fast and now is on like day 6 or 7 of taking all these stuff. And he basically put himself through his own homeostasis, through his own diet, put himself in respiratory acidosis. So he was under breathing. He was like rapidly breathing. He was mouth breathing. His body was in extreme levels of fatigue where his blood sugar was incredibly low. He almost fainted. He got dizzy. He got tingling. He got fatigue. All this stuff happened. Honestly, I think because his breathing wasn't sorted beforehand. He doesn't know the mechanisms. His neurology doesn't understand how to breathe when in stress. So like getting your body to know how to recover quicker using things like cadence, using carbon dioxide tolerance techniques to move lymph, especially if you're getting rid of toxins, you want to move that lymph quick. You don't want to sit in the body and potentially be reabsorbed. You want it out. So like sweating, like breathing, all that stuff is so important for cleansing. And he didn't know of any of it. And then he almost had a panic attack last night because he was like, I think I'm fucking dying. And it's like, dude, you're not dying. You're herxing. You're sick. You intentionally put yourself in this position through like you're getting toxins out of your body. It's not a pleasant experience. It's not a good, it doesn't feel good, but you feel good afterwards because it's no longer in your system. But during that time, you can use tools. You can use red light therapy. You can use breathing, like cadence breathing. I was like, you should do cadence breathing. You should do it for an hour today. And he was like, all right, I need to hop on this tomorrow because I'm like not doing well. So it's just like it's really interesting because I've seen it show up in a couple different places too, like Discords. Like people are like, "Can you like shift your own homeostasis through diet?" And it's absolutely true. When I first started taking consultations, I talked to like a lot of different people. I've probably given like I'd say like over 200 just free consultations, just talking to people about breath, seeing where they're at. I'd say like a big chunk of that, a lot of people would are trying some new fad diet. They're trying to go vegan. They're trying to go carnivore. They've shifted their blood, their homeostasis, their gut microbiome, and their breathing has suffered because of it. So it's like if you had actually gotten your breathing sorted first and then done your changing diet or your herbal protocol or your cleanse or whatever it was, it might have done better things for you in the long run. Needless to say, I think breath is like just the first pillar of all of this stuff. I think it helps with like the neurology of it, the breathing mechanics, the biochemistry. All of it can help you just move towards healing and like cleansing quicker, cleansing faster and more efficient. So I just wanted to bring that up. But if you guys have like any questions about that too, I'm happy to answer. It was just like it just came up yesterday, and I was like, this is like there's a reason why like people should do it in a right like should do the breathing first. It like makes so much more sense to me to do that. And it's like I just happened to do that anyway when I was doing certain protocols with guidance before I did breath. Like when I first got diagnosed with an autoimmune, I like worked with a practitioner and he got me on an herbal protocol, but it was very like low intensity. Like I was like he gave me two options. He was like, you can do the high intensity one or you can do the low intensity one. And he was like, the high intensity one, you're gonna be shitting like crazy and like it's gonna be intense on the body. And I was like, I gotta work. I gotta go to a 9 to 5. I'm not gonna be able to do that. So I just did the low intensity one. And it was like, less supplements, certain supplements over a longer period of time, specific supplements that kill off like the larva instead of directly attack the parasites. So it was like sort of like just over time I could feel a difference. And like when you structure a protocol like that, it lessens the herxing effects or the detoxing effects. So you get them like slowly over time and less intense. And
Mm.
that's what most people need, but most people like see this thing and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to do a parasite protocol because parasites are horrible. I need to get them out of my system. I'm going to like do all this stuff." And it's just like you don't realize what you're asking your body to do. And it's like, this is the healing. This is the work. These are the cleansing reactions. And it's a good thing. I think a lot of people get scared about it too. They're like, oh, I'm feeling sick. I might be dying. It's going to be horrible. It causes them to go into a panic. It's like, no, actually, this is a good thing. I think that's one of the biggest like switches I had when I started to like work into deeper aspects of healing myself is this like when we're intentionally putting our body into these situations where we're like pumping the nervous system down, regulating, moving lymph, moving toxins, like it's not enjoyable, like I mentioned, but it's necessary and it's actually a good thing. And like healing like that, when I switched my mindset around that, it's like, oh, this makes so much more sense. This makes so much more sense that like what actually healing is. Like I'm getting this toxin out of my body. It's coming out in this random way. And it happens so different for everyone. Like I've watched it with multiple clients, multiple coaches, like my breathwork coach and everybody in his classes and stuff, I watched it through 3 or 4 6 month protocols. There was people going through cleansing reactions constantly. And it was like we were there as a support group to be like, yo, I've done this before. It's okay. You're good. Like it's supposed to happen. It's actually something we can celebrate. It's like that shit's out of your system now, and now you can breathe easier. You can breathe better. You can your metabolism has increased, like all these beneficial things. So which is kind of cool. Way to think about breath, way to think about healing. Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Interesting.
The other thing I wanted to ask you on that is when you're going through some of these protocols or through that, and you're using your breath as an indicator. So, say, I wouldn't say like bolt score necessarily, but if the
Oh yeah,
breath,
bolt score for sure, and max breath hold. Those are the two biggest indicate. I mean, everything that we check is an indicator of where you're at with your healing. Like if your bolt score drops to like 15 seconds, like you're going through some shit, you just do some cadence. But yeah, please continue. You were gonna ask
no,
something.
no, no, yeah, exactly. So then
Yeah.
when I know when you notice that you're not holding as much and it's really really stressful, then what would be the adjustment there? Would it be like, okay, my body's probably like hurting, just basically take it easy, do
So
less?
it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of like, okay, my body's hurting, I can potentially take it easy, but it's also like or you could just depending on how intense the hurting is and your mindset, and if your mind can stay calm through that hurting, then you can just do the protocol and just notice the things that are changing. So like do the protocol, and if you have a like a really low day, just recognize that as the body is healing. And you never know what's going to happen the next day because you've worked through this really intense work routine where you hit 5 breath holds, and they were not great, but they were all super intense. Like they were like maybe 40 seconds, 42 seconds, 43 seconds, and you're like struggling the whole time. That's like the body's getting rid of stuff. The body's moving through things. The neurology's shifting and changing. So like that you can just accept that for what it is and then continue your practice the next day, get some good rest and like see what happens with that. So I think herxing and like detoxing in general and like when we see our scores change, a lot of that is so much mindset, so much like my body's going to be okay no matter what is super important. The safety that you can feel in your nervous system and in your mind is essential for growth. So like if you have 3 good days and then a bad day and you feel horrible and your mind starts racing like what's wrong? Oh no, I must be sick, I must be dying, I must be like all this stuff, you're gonna get stressed and like it's not gonna feel good. And then the next practice is probably gonna get worse and then you spiral downwards. But instead of like spiraling downwards, if you just hold on to like if you just kind of wait and be patient with yourself and with the practice, like it can just it'll dip when it needs to dip and then you'll see growth. So like it's a lot of mindset. It's a lot of like safety in the nervous system. Um, that's like such a big thing that I can't stress enough. And some of us honestly are like born into it, like a lot of it has to do with childhood traumas and like how we deal with stress and how we were raised and like all this stuff, like to feel safe at home so that we can sleep and so that we can eat and grow and all these things like that makes a huge difference in your nervous system's ability to progress. So it's like if you don't have that, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means that you're just working with different traumas and you can use the breath practice to work with those traumas too. Like it's everything, in my opinion, and the way I always kind of see this stuff is like it's all beneficial no matter what. Even if it's bad, it's good. Like I just keep such a positive outlook when it comes to healing, when it comes to health progression, when it comes to lifestyle and mindset. Like it's so important for me to like hold that um for myself. Uh, and I think it like helps others to hear me even just talk about it because it's like it really does. The mind is so much connected to our health. Our thought patterns dictate everything. Uh, it's like that's all the new science that's coming out. Even like 2 or 3 years ago, Joe Dispenza was like one of the first guys to say, your thoughts influence your physiology, and we can prove it. And everybody like since then has been like, yeah, and now we can prove it even more with all this extra stuff, with like brainwaves and heart and all this stuff. So it's like the mind is so important. Um, and the relationship we have with our mind is important. The relationship we have with our ego and like how that looks and how that feels is important. A lot of the times when people are dealing with detoxing and parasites, um, specifically parasites, the ego shows up um, in a lot of different ways. Uh, the gut and the brain are connected, like through like basically through serotonin and then through like just like kind of the neural pathways, the vagus nerve. um, your gut impacts how you think and vice versa. Your brain impacts how your gut like moves and digests things. Parasites live in the gut. They're part of like the gut lining, and they can influence your thoughts when they get bigger and they get more like they want nutrients and they want to grow. They'll speak things into your mind, and that's through your ego. And this is why like when the moon gets full, people like are craving things or they want to go and experience something that's not necessarily good for their health. Their lower chakras, the lower energy down here in their gut is speaking for them as opposed to their higher selves. So like the the parasites in general tend to speak for us. And that's why it's so intense when we're healing, because the parasites are like yelling at us to do this one thing. They're like, when we're healing, when we're sick, they're like, go eat Doritos. And you're like, that doesn't make any sense, but like, why do I want to eat Doritos now? And like, it could be the worst thing for you because it's feeding that parasite. It's bringing you back into like a sick space or like a space where you're holding on to more or you're getting fed toxins. They're getting fed toxins. So that being said, parasites aren't always bad too. We have good and bad parasites. It's like good and bad bacteria. We can harness and we can feed good bacteria, which feeds good parasites in our body. Like we have symbiotic relationships with them. We also have the ones that where they kind of feed on us a little bit too much. It can tilt in certain directions. Um, but yeah, I think um, yeah, I don't know exactly where I was going with that. I was kind of just like pop fucking I was like just going off.
Oh, the relationship is very, very interesting, and you can go slow or you can go fast. But if you go fast, then
Yes,
you have to be willing to take in what your body needs.
exactly. Yeah, well said,
A
man.
lot of
Well said.
people do that because obviously there's people that have like a whole day-to-day routine, and there's other people that depend on them. So it's almost like you have to intentionally do this. And this is something, this is an approach that you take, say, like on a once a year basis, or just whenever your body feels off. Or would you say there is essentially a lifestyle approach to it where you just do, you can go on the light detox situation, maybe once a month or once a season?
So
Because people are taking the whole
the
thing.
answer, the answer is all of it. Like literally it depends so much on the person and what they've been dealt with in this life and then what they've experienced in this life as well. So like for example, if in the womb your mom smoked cigarettes, chain smoked cigarettes, and you were born into a room where she's still smoking cigarettes, you're gonna have to go through a lot of detoxing throughout your life to be able to kind of remove some of that stuff. It's like so there's when they when we talk about prana, life force energy, chi, and the kidneys, we life force energy is prenatal and postnatal. So we've been inherited specific genes and like almost like a little bit of epigenetics. So like we've been experiencing like when we come into this life, we're experiencing something based on what our parents and our parents' parents and our parents' parents have experienced. So like we're given a body, and that body has certain characteristics and certain flaws and certain things, or certain things that just need to be strengthened. So depending on your circumstance, you may or may not need more detoxing than another person. Same thing, kind of same answer kind of goes, or like same concept applies to your just life in general. Like if you're 40 years old and you were partying your ass off for 20 years, like you got to probably do a lot of detoxing to get that stuff out of your system. Um, Depending on like the environment you've been in, like heavy metals could have entered your system, toxic mold, like so much stuff throughout your life. So it's depending on your goals, depending on your lifestyle, depending on who you are as a person, prenatal, postnatal, all this stuff impacts how long you need to detox in order to feel healthy. Um, every person's journey is going to be their own. And some people spend most of their life detoxing because they need it, because their parents needed it and they never did. Their parents needed it and they never did. Like it can kind of end up like that. Um, but at the same time, there's like it's everybody's journey. So like you can do your own protocols and just kind of feel into that. I personally think that like I align with nature and like with like kind of like what other countries do. I like this concept of cleansing with the cycles and like seasonally. So like I will cleanse in the springtime and in the fall, and that's according to like Ayurvedic traditions. Like we're in a building season in the summer and we're in a building season in the winter, and then we cleanse when it changes seasons. So like when it shifts very much into, we're getting out of that like wet, cold, gloomy winter into summer. It's gonna like the temperature's changing, the humidity's changing, there's new plants, all this different stuff is changing. Your body's gonna have to want to actually get rid of some stuff to invite new energy in. So parasite protocols, I don't know how often I would say that's necessary as well. Even like you can cleanse and not do a parasite protocol. It's just depending on honestly like what you look like and what you feel like. So like if you got a fucking bulge in your gut, you might have some parasites in there that want to get out. You might have like excess fat that like in wanted areas that's like holding on to toxins that like if you do a cleanse, you'll be able to get those out and create a new baseline. So like the cleansing and the parasites, I'd say like 1 to 2 times a year is really optimal. Um, I think that's just like in other countries, that's just the norm. Whereas like in America, people don't start cleansing until like they find out about it. They're like, oh, I didn't know that this was a thing. Like, okay, now let me start maybe cleansing a little bit. But it's also based on lifestyle too. Like if you eat if you eat and you exercise healthy, then like you might not even need it. Um, I think it's just like helpful for moving certain energy. And like eating with the seasons and stuff helps with that too. But like inherently also I believe that most people in America at least, or actually honestly throughout a lot of parts of the world, like even in China, like there's environmental toxins, and that has increased pretty dramatically over the last 100 years. Like the amount of microplastics that we consume and absorb, all the toxins that they're spraying in the air, all the toxins that get into the food through the waterways, through the soil, all the soil, like the we talk about soil for a while. The soil quality over the last 100 years has degraded so much so that one orange 50 years ago has more nutrients than 8 oranges today in America, at least. I don't know about like other countries, but I'm sure it's similar. Like the amount of micronutrients and vitamins and stuff that's in the soil itself has degraded because of pesticides and herbicides and like all this shit that they're spraying, all the stuff that they're doing to like not rotate crops, not do things organically has like degraded us over time. Glyphosate, I've done a ton of research on glyphosate, and that's like one of the biggest herbicides on the planet. And they did research. There's a woman named Stephanie, I can't remember her last name, but she's been on a bunch of different podcasts and she talks a lot about it. But they've done studies with mice. And while glyphosate didn't really affect the first generation, when you got down the line in terms of third and fourth, you started to see things like autoimmune, you started to see things like erosion, increase in inflammation. All these different things started popping up in the third and the fourth generation. It wasn't until then. And we're about there. We're like almost on the fifth. So there's been an explosion of autoimmune. There's been an explosion of gut issues over the last 10, 20 years. Like all of that is due to the soil quality. So like, how do we repair that? How do we heal that? Well, one, there's advances and stuff. We're working on supplements. We can always add in that stuff. We want to eat healthy. We want to avoid processed food. We want to cleanse our body of those toxins. There are specific protocols and specific supplements that actually like help repair the gut microbiome. Even things like ghee, like I've mentioned, that like really helps feed the good bacteria in your gut to help prevent leaky gut. There's like so much little stuff that we can do every day that I feel like we forgot as a people, that like, 100 years ago they were just doing because their parents taught them how to do it. Whereas like where we have to kind of relearn some of that stuff just because of how society has evolved. So there's like, yeah, I think I'll sort of chill there for a second.
Well,
I'm going on rants today, man.
everything like it's legit. But then there's the other aspect that you were saying about, which is I'd say the one that really connects with the present journey that I mean even I have to go through, which is the mind game and the parasite game, where we have like a bunch of parasites that also essentially also influence thoughts. Would you say that most of the situations of a parasitic craving or stuff like that is always wanting for something outside of yourself in a materialistic way, like food or substance or things
Yeah.
of, or is there a distinct form of thought where, say, if there's things of like, say, self-loathing, like depression, just like negative thought patterns in general, um, would those be also those be things related to a parasitic thing? Because then, if I know,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
I
So
would like,
one
I would like,
word come. Go ahead, please continue. Yeah.
yeah, I would like to kind of get a breakdown of or your experience of the discernment, the ability to discern when things are an parasitic thing, or and how it influences the mind. Because we all go through situations where it's like, oh man, like I'm feeling a certain way, but then, you know, is this, can we just say like, oh, maybe let me try a parasite cleanse and then go back to my, how I'm thinking about it. But then
Mm.
also, during a parasitic cleanse, you're going to go through a lot of these, resistances of
Yeah. So
affecting.
one word comes to mind. Stimulation. So parasites want stimulation. They want like a specific type of energy. That stimulation comes through food, and specifically, it honestly comes like parasites crave stimulation through meat, honestly. Like I don't think meat should be used in a parasite cleanse, but that's just me. Um, there are other people that think like no sugars with parasites because there are certain parasites that feed off of certain things. So we have different kinds. Some feed off of sugar, which it's good to kind of like not do sugar at certain points. But there are also some that feed off of just like that stimulation, that meat. So think about like an animal's life is filled with stimulation. An animal, usually when they die, is filled with like kind of a lot of stimulation, especially stress or just like panic, fear, all this stuff. That's this is like a vegan concept, is like all that energy is in the meat itself, and it's true. It is. When we consume meat in general, we're likely more stimulated. Um, this is like it connects with like processed foods too in like a different way. Not exactly sure how to explain that, but like essentially like the parasites themselves, they're looking for um stimulation in the form of like energy and emotion and vibration. So like the best thing you can do to kill off parasites is nothing. And by nothing, I mean like sitting still and breathing, like doing nothing. When you feel a desire or like a want or like some sort of urge that's like very animalistic or like primal. You want to kind of resist that and find stillness. That's what will like rewire the brain to not react and sort of like respond instead. So, does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, I
Somewhat.
mean, that's yeah, like the essence, and I feel that the breath holds essentially are a good indicator because that's also another way to create that discernment. And I've seen my relationship w with myself change from the first breath hold to the seventh or fifth breath hold, and it's a radical difference in terms of how much less I need to feel good or to feel a certain way that I need to. Not that I need to, but something that is already locked into me.
Yeah.
And to connect that with the detox scenario is very, very fascinating because yeah, there is the aspect of the lymphatic system kind of moving things around. And but then it's the thing where it the norm becomes to be uncomfortable because say there's this is what I mean. Or like there's this concept of like, oh, there's I'm always because the karma of feeling that I always need to be improving and detoxing and all this because you carry a lot of guilt or shame from say a lot of that stuff. But then how do I know if that guilt and shame is also a parasitic response? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. So I think I don't know. I don't believe those two are like always connected. Like I don't believe, I think emotions are very energetic and can be just held in the tissues themselves, in the structure of the water, as opposed to just the actual parasites themselves. Parasites are like almost like more of a mind virus, and it's thought patterns, not necessarily specific emotions, although specific emotions can connect to them or they can like express specific emotions. Um, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that, but I feel like yeah, damn, I don't even know how to answer that or how yeah, please, yeah. Go ahead.
Like I mean, the gut is directly connected to emotions for sure, and we know that
Yeah.
like the neurotransmitters that get produced in it. And this is where I mean where uh, the ability to discern is, I'd say, the biggest challenge because then sometimes we could attribute certain things to other causalities, you know. But the scenario is that what I've understood from what you've taught me today is so much of the parasitic nature of well the bad parasites that are inside of the body typically are dealing with some form of a craving of sorts, where it wants an
Yeah.
ability to trigger a thing. And if that behavior gets done a certain way, then maybe emotions could be a byproduct of it or
Yes.
feel a certain way as a result.
So, okay, so I agree with that. I think that makes a lot of sense because it's like the the energy channels of the bodies, like the nadis, which there are like thousands of, like all those energy channels run currents through your fascia and through different parts of the body where emotions are stored and held. So it's like that the releasing of the parasites can influence that because it just directly connects to your whole nervous system in general. Um, I will say that like usually like there are signs that you have bad parasites. So like if you have bad parasites that are like feeding on your system, it's likely connecting to one or more of your organs. And through that, it's influencing and causing symptoms. So you'll have things like brain fog. You'll have things like low levels, like fatigue. You'll have low adrenals. You'll have like lymph stagnation. You'll have all of these different things because one or more of your organs is feeling like almost zapped from its energy because it's not able to receive the food that you're consuming or the light that you're consuming or the water that you're consuming because the parasite's kind of stealing some of that energy. So I think that's an important distinction to make when it comes to like the emotional connection. I think like when your body's in an environment where you're or like you're creating the container, you're creating the space internally where the parasite feels like it's being like almost threatened or like to be removed, then it's going to start like trying to stay. It's going to tighten its grip and it's going to start to steal a little bit more energy. But if your container's solid and you keep taking your herbs and you keep doing your breath work and you keep doing the things that have put it in that space, when the moon starts to get it full, it's gonna it's gonna eventually get ripped out or it's gonna eventually like release its grip. And that's usually like through the nervous system, through the energy channels, through the fascia and the like the easy water and how it's shaped through our emotions. That's when we feel the shift in the emotions. That's when we feel the shift in our being, in like our core, in our mind. We feel those changes. So it's like I think the emotional work can can help facilitate the removal of parasites through the fascia itself and through the connective tissue because of how it relaxes the actual like lymph and relaxes the tissues to allow for energy to move because constriction means less oxygen means less energy transfer, it means tension, it means holding the toxins in place. So it's like through the emotional relaxation or through the emotional work where we can find a sense of calm, that's when we can facilitate a place for those parasites to move and to get rid and out of the body. So like I think that's how it connects to the energy of it, and you can see like a micro or like kind of like a fractal version of that happen within the breath hold practice. Like we're working to create emotional and physical relaxation through the use of constriction and expansion, contraction and expansion of the breath itself. So like that's what can help facilitate it. It's like we're working with this fear of suffocation, we're working with this relaxation that we get afterwards, we're working with the down regulation and moving that energy, which is why that's it helps create the container for parasites to leave, for energy to leave. Yeah. Damn, dude, on one today. You never know. It's just gonna come out of me. This was good, man. We're coming up right on an hour right now. Yeah, Wiggs, how do you feel about that? What does that make sense to you?
It's yeah. Honestly, it makes a lot of sense. And the thing definitely is the relationship of how the breath holds feel and how they evolve over time, and then what my relationship with it is by the fifth or seventh breath holds. And then there's the dosage of it as well, where doing this and having this vehicle and creating this space for parasites to move and a lot of other things that are attached to it. Because I know we're observing the breath as like a central, I wouldn't say centralized, but something that is holistically connected to everything else, which is
Hmm.
fascinating. Seeing the relationship you get with your breath there on understanding how it's yeah essentially how it evolves like who you are and essentially also evolving how your body is moving through certain things. And would you say that the same way as when as we like overcome different things that we might have been or substances that we might have been like having different relationships with, seeing that relationship shift would be a sign that like our the journey is working, you know,
Yeah.
the way you react to it now, what a cigarette means to you now than what it meant to you before, like the whole practice means that the relationship is always shifting. But it doesn't
Yeah.
mean the thought has left, which is what I've noticed
Yeah.
with me. It doesn't mean that the thought ever leaves. The thought is like always there, but the energy attached to it has completely shifted where
Yeah.
it
So
a
yeah, I think
trap.
a lot of that is like like what you're talking about is the power of like the mind. And like you can do all the breath work, you can do all the changing the eating, you can do all this stuff, and it might help all that, but like it also, like the mind is, like I mentioned at the beginning of the call, like the mind is so important for this stuff, and it really does, it can create change in the fascia. Like even just thinking and feeling emotions through your mind, through your mind's eye, through your like your heart, all of this stuff can shift how you view something, especially if it's like something you're trying to improve about yourself and you're trying to what's the word?
Rewire.
Rephrase. It's like an NLP thing.
Damn. There's
Reframe, yeah. If you're trying to reframe something, that can be just as powerful as doing a breath hold practice, is reframing and sticking to the reframe and like changing how you think about something, changing your perspective about how you think about a habit that you've developed that you want to change. Like that is just like so important. And it's like it can apply to the breath holds too. Like it can apply to this practice that we do. It's like I can have a bad attitude about it and like feel all of that, or I can shift my mindset. I can reframe it. I can be like, this is going to be good for me. I'm going to do this today. I'm going to crush my 5 breath holds. It's going to be awesome. And that right there is going to shift everything. The mind is so connected, so important.
dig it,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah. I think it's probably a good time to end this. Yeah, guys, awesome talk. It was me talking most of the time, but good stuff. Thanks for listening. I appreciate your questions, Wiggs. Joshua, I appreciate you coming on here and chatting too and just listening. Um, this was a good one. There was a lot. I feel like I shared a lot of my own experience. I shared a lot of like my thoughts around healing, health, all this good stuff. It's all yeah, it's all very powerful, and it allows us to kind of reframe and to have a good mindset moving forward. So hope you guys crush your next breath practice. Let me know in the chat how you do with it. I'm excited to hear. Even if it's a bad one, let me know. Let me know if it's like today was not my day and it's fine. Like it's all good. Tomorrow will be better, you know. So let me know. But yeah, I'll end it here. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man. It was good speaking.
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
Awesome.
All right.
Appreciate
Thanks, Josh.
Bye.
Catch you guys later.